business strategy literally being a gamble. And the reason it isn't necessarily a bad thing is because it was an amount of money they could afford to lose. The irreplaceable Morgan, on the other hand, Cory and Shawn were confronted by their first bully, Harley Kiner, played by Danny McNulty, flanked by his henchman, Joey, played by Blake Soper, and Frankie, played by Ethan Suplee. Anthony Tyler Quinn joined the principal cast as the high school English teacher, Jonathan Turner, a young teacher who adopts a different approach from last year's Mr. Feeney.
What is that, X-Men?
No, it's...
with sitcoms that focus on kids, and in the future, the series would more fully embrace weightier subjects. The first season of Boy Meets World is a bit of an outlier, clearly geared toward a younger audience, and the only season before the teen years of Cory and his friends. That may be why it played it so safe, taking a very conventional childhood to adulthood. Later seasons would be far more daring. Season 2 brought basics met, their school is well equipped, and they embody typical American TV sitcom values. Their major influences in life are their friends, family, and teachers. And those influences are all within a greater context of an idealized world for those kids to grow in without facing any traumatic hardships, at least in the first season. In the episode Model Family, it opens with a clip from the 1950s sitcom Leave It to Beaver.
How do you feel Ward and June handled their family problem?
They were treated, and not the tidy package you see on TV. Only it doesn't really work, as the Matthews family, for all its modern faults, is still ideal. The parents are happily married, there's no sign of financial strain, and they generally all have happy, positive lives. This is the comfy, white, middle-class family that the America of the 90s treated pretty well, at least compared to other families. The middle child of the Matthews family, Cory starts the show in 6th grade. He's an energetic kid who is less than committed to his schoolwork and happily sits as the every kid everyone watching was supposed to identify with as he started taking his first steps into the big world around him.
Apparently, he'd rather listen to the baseball game on the radio than...
Next door to the Matthews home, meaning that no matter where Cory went, he could never escape his watchful eye or sage advice.
You know, you're not doing your body any favors loading up on junk like that.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Feeney. And
Cory's older brother, Eric, was played by Will Friedle. Although Friedle wasn't the first choice for the role, after the pilot was shot, the role was recast and given to Friedle instead. Friedle was given the role because he was taller than the first actor, and they didn't want Cory growing up to be taller than his older brother. Eric begins the series as the date-obsessed older brother, though over the years he would become one of the goofier members of the cast.
Like, I don't have anything else in my mind but girls. Look, I got a lot of other things in my mind besides girls.
Strong was cast to play Cory's best friend, Shawn Hunter. According to Michael Jacobs, Strong was the first and only boy he considered for the role. Shawn is the rebellious best friend with a troubled home life, in stark contrast to the more wholesome Matthews household.
Stacey says you should have watched out 40...
Would be going to high school, although we wouldn't be watching all of their high school journeys. The character Stuart Minkus exited the series after season 1, and he would be replaced by Topanga. This wasn't based on a competing spot, though. At the same time, though, not only was he transferred to the same school Cory and Shawn went to, John Adams High School, but he would be pulling double duty as both history teacher and school principal.
Mr. Feeney?
The legend continues.
And the character of Shawn Hunter would serve as a lesson in how things can go wrong. Although he blew up a mailbox and faced some financial hardship in season 1, it's seasons 2 and 3 that really establish how Shawn's life differs from Cory's. Actor-writer Strong explained his interpretation of Shawn in an interview saying, "Shawn was always a reminder than the good line to Cory, who decides to cover for Shawn, and the episode is about not writing out your friend when they do something wrong. And by..." While Cory is the positive influence, keeping Shawn from screwing up too badly. The limits of that are tested as the bullies present an alternative in the episode Wrong Side of the Tracks.
Look, I just think you're gonna have a problem if you hang out with guys like that.
Yeah, well, they happen to be my kind of guys, okay? We're part of the same circle.
Look, Shawn,
Cory, let go.
We find out that Shawn believes his own future has already been decided.
Cory, you and I are different, and sooner or later we're gonna end up in different places.
says who?
Why don't we both just do us a favor right now and call it quits, okay?
What has gotten into you?
You just don't get it, do you?
Get what?
Look at your house, Cory. Look at where you live. Look at where I live. Look at your parents. Look at my parents. I know where I'm gonna end up. Just let me get there now.
Shawn!
Just let me get there now.
Cory is not that Cory is a bad friend, as we just saw Cory willing to take the fall for Shawn in an earlier episode. This is about how Shawn sees himself, and how he doesn't consider a guy like him good enough to be friends with a guy like Cory.
And that's how I feel about with my friend too as well.
Space, Mr. Turner shows up to talk some sense into Shawn.
I need to know what's gonna happen to me, and you can't tell me that.
Hey, Hunter. All Matthews can do is be your friend. And so far, he's been doing a real good job.
Someone who's going to succeed in life. And as his performance worsens, those messages get louder and louder. And the only way to break the cycle is for people in his life to show him that he's worth more than what the world is telling him. That this issue hasn't been entirely settled. The 2 episodes at the end of Season 2, Career Day and Home, further emphasize the unfolding tragedy of Shawn's life when his mother runs off with the family's mobile home and Chet's father chases after her, leaving Shawn behind. Chet Hunter is played by Blake Clark.
Your mother, she took off.
Family, and we quickly find out that situation is not ideal.
You know, Amy, I like Shawn. You can move it.
Shawn ends up staying with the Matthews family, and we quickly find out that Sin decides to take up Mr. Turner's offer for a place to stay. And when Shawn finds out that his father isn't coming back anytime soon, that offer becomes more permanent.
How about I give you a home?
What, your place?
Yeah, my place.
For how long? 3 weeks and then you get sick of me?